Hello, and welcome to 1973 GMC Motorhome, episode 15. If some of you weren't crazy about episode 14, that was a minute and a half, I won't do that again. Anyway, I've got only a couple hours each morning this week if I get up early enough, which I've done. And so each morning I'm going to try and do a small bit on this motorhome. And this morning, I'm going to put the outlet in that box. That is the goal, because that's one thing that needs to be done. So here's the back of the box, and you might think that here's the front. I bought this, and I got that, and these screws should go right in. Well, they don't, so now I got to go to the hardware store. But this is why something that should take 5 minutes, you must plan for it to take 1 hour. So what I'm looking for needs to be more towards the inside and higher up. Same thing on the bottom. More towards the inside and higher up. Alright, so this is some kind of weird ass big box. And I'm sure it's not the original box, but we're going to make it work. I got a plate that was sort of beveled on the edge. It's stainless. I just hammered that flat. Gonna drill some holes in it, and this will be our plate, and then I'll put that other, well, that'll reinforce it because I'll have the outlet in there, so it should be fine. Okay, well that worked out pretty well, and we've got, because of this plate on the outside, we've got more sandwiching area holding that in. This one screw here seemed like it stripped out, so I put a self-tapper in there. That's not going anywhere. That's super solid. So that's done. Now I'm going to put the little cover back on, and Michelle can paint in that closet. It is fun getting this cord up in here, and it should be interesting to see how I'm going to have a method to coil it and be able to plug it into there. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so this is what's coming out of that box now. So when we plug our shore power line into that box, this is going to be being fed from our generator or our solar system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another 50 amp male plug on this. Then I'm going to hook my generator up to, I'll make a plate over there. There's going to be a 50 amp female that I can plug this into coming from the generator, or I'll have an adapter that goes from 50 amp to two 20 amp regular plugs that will plug into the front of my inverter. Okay, so from the cord coming from there over to here, that will have a male 50 amp end on it. My generator I will hardwire to a 50 amp female socket similar to that over there. Then also the male end coming out here, if it's not plugged into the generator 50 amp socket, will be split into two 20 amp plugs with an adapter that can plug into there. So kind of just trying to figure this all out, but little by little we are making progress, and it's always good to do sort of one piece at a time, as they say. So that's this morning's project done, simply wiring in that box. Now I'm going to try to coil that up in there before I leave and see if I can actually plug it into that thing. Unexpectedly back here, I'm going to grab, I think there's some exhaust manifold or gaskets in here that I got to get. We'll see if they're in here. So I thought I remembered seeing these in here, so I'm going to grab these. I'm not sure if this is 2 or 1. It's got to be 2. One of them's wrong, but anyway, I'm going to grab them both. All right, so there's a Y pipe, and there's some down pipes. There's manifolds in there, all for 455 stuff. So I got this. Here's a book. It's The Age of Understanding by Pete Peak. Now, Pete Peak, who sold me these parts, ran Peak Performance, which was a VW bug shop in the Maryland area for years and years and years. Hell of a nice guy. He asked me to mention this book that he wrote, so there's that. And I want to thank him for selling me these exhaust parts, because I've got a little exhaust leak, and it's with these manifolds that crack. Those things are milled nice and flat. These are kind of invaluable to have as spares, so thank you, Pete. All right, I got some more electrical stuff. I got my plywood. Way home. So while I have to reorient the plug, and that was a little disappointing this morning, I actually got a lot done. These I also got from Pete. These help you remove the rubber striping, which we're going to need when we paint. In addition, there's this tool here, which apparently, it's grease on there, okay, which apparently is for moving the torsion bars on the GMC and some tie rod ends. So it was a good day, and I was planning on doing this another day, and so now we don't have to do this another day. So worked out well. So now we're going to go home and go to bed. Well, we're going to watch TV and go to bed and have dinner, and then we'll get back to work in the morning, reorienting that thing and moving on to our next task. And it's the next morning again, and now we're going to reorient that plug and put our new plug in on the end of the cord that goes into the generator compartment. So we got to flip that around so that the round piece is on the top. That's how that wants to go in there. That's why I'm flipping. Okay, now let's see if we can get this cord coil up in here, which is really thick, and plugged into there. If this was cold, I mean, this would not be fun, but we're gonna figure it out, get it plugged in there. Okay, so that's plugged into there. Now we have to figure out how to get this in here, and obviously it needs to be plugged in. We're trying to figure out how to do this. So if we plug this in, like so, then we gotta get this in there. Oh boy. Okay, basically it's in there. That's still plugged in nice and tight. That's all mushed in there, and I'll just have to close that and latch that. So I'll do that. Okay, so this cable here goes into there. That's what goes onto the female receptacle. So now I'm going to put a male end on here that I'll have an adapter on that I can plug into that, or I'll have a box back there that I can plug the generator into. So everything will be able to be plugged and unplugged. So let's put an end on that, and then we'll hook power up to that and test to see that we got AC power from here to the box and then through that cable. Okay, now we're going to plug this in to our adapter, plug it in, see if we got power. Okay, next morning we're going to make that piece there and the piece that goes here. We found a futon in the basement that's got a mattress that fits that perfectly and this perfectly. It's like a miracle because that's like 30, and then we can show it back and make a couch out of it. Anyway, so just out here getting ready to cut my first smaller piece. There's the mark. Okay, so now this is going to be set up in couch mode, or this is currently set up in couch mode. You can sit here, cushion will be here. This piece will always be on here and will probably be screwed down because that will never move except for when I need to access the top of the generator, which is God knows when, but I'll just put screws in here. It can be unscrewed. So now I'm just gonna fit this piece in and then make sure it fits and then route that front edge there for bed mode. And bed mode. Here we got. Nice. Then we go into couch mode. This piece will just lift up and slide under the couch cushion. So we have to put that piece of trim on there. I got to make that. That's going to be one of the things that needs to be done here. Put these trim pieces down here, clean that off, and then this area here can be painted. By the way, when in bed mode, we can have the plastic bins and slide them under there for storage. And then this picks up if you want to get at them real quick. And then, yeah. Okay, there's our piece covering that. So this all gets painted. That'll kind of blend in. Let's see. Now I'm going to see about. Michelle's got an idea for back here covering all this up. So maybe I'll just leave that alone for now, rather than make a mess with the grinder. Alright, next on the agenda is this refrigerator coming out of here, so I can check all the wiring behind it, clean up behind it, and the board that goes underneath it, that's rotten. So we're going to replace that, then rebuild the front of this, incorporate the, that's a heater, motor heater, antifreeze driven heater when you're driving, so we'll incorporate that and neaten that up. Alright, so this is the refrigerator cabinet, which obviously that's what I want to replace down there, and I'm going to see what's going on. There's my 12 volts. I don't know what's going on here. It's going somewhere. We'll figure out what that's doing at some point. That's been painted by Michelle. She needs a second coat on that closet, I think. Here's one of the drawers going back in. So there's the refrigerator. It seems a bit noisy to me. It's definitely getting cold. I'm just running it on 120 at the moment to see how it works. But I don't know how. It's awfully loud, and I don't know if that's the original Norcold refrigerator or not, but it works because it was made 50 years ago when things were made to work, but it seems a little loud, and I don't know. But anyway, I can at least be rebuilding this tomorrow morning. So we're all done with this morning stuff. We did good. We got that, we made our other piece there. And we got their fridge out, so that's a pretty good productive morning. Okay, it's another morning. I've installed the outlet back in there and my charging power point. Now there's a cover that goes on here and obviously one that goes in here, but Michelle's gonna get in here and paint. I'm going to remove that nut and that nut and take this down. She can paint that, and I'm gonna go plug this in and make sure that outlet works. Then I might hit that with the 4.5 inch grinder with sanding disc, see if I can clean that off, see what happens there. Alright, so we're plugged in there, got our fan working, that's good, and we're plugged into our cord that goes from the main 50 amp cable that's then plugged into the socket that then goes back into here, which will eventually plug into our inverter. So the path of power is good. Okay, so this is all nice and smooth now. Those are actually indentations. They would need to be filled and sanded. I'm not going to worry about that. But that's smooth, so that can be painted. I used my 4.5 inch grinder with a sort of that grinding floppy disk kind of thing, and then I use my DA with some 60 grit, and it's smooth to the touch. And what I would like to do is take some fabric and just glue it directly to that now that it's smooth, or paint it, but Michelle's got a plan too, and usually what she comes up with is pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to vacuum this out, and then that's going to be it for this episode. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.